Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, James.
And good morning, everybody. Hopefully, as always, you are having a great weekend or a great week whenever it is that you are listening. So here we are again, Anne, Sunday morning, and another Vibe Sunday podcast episode.
Once again, Sunday.
Once again. Are you happy to begin?
I am, yes.
Fantastic. Where would you like to start this morning?
I'd like to start with as a follow-on from last week.
Okay.
Don't normally do a follow-on.
Right.
But after last week's podcast, I started to think, and a word just came into my mind.
Right.
Which sometimes happens for no reason, and then I have to pursue why it's there.
Right.
And
okay.
I did some writing, so I'm just going to read the writing that I've done.
Okay, so you've got some writing
I have
for
got
us.
some writing
Fantastic.
to read.
Okay, over to
And
you.
It doesn't always make complete sense, I must say that, because I just write it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I'm not
I am
thinking,
sure it will make perfect sense.
Maybe, but...
Maybe, okay.
Maybe, yes.
Right, okay. Over to you.
So what came into my mind when I thought about it was, and this is just the way I've written it down, does dogma get in the way of all paths? Be this God, jobs, education, or just life itself, or any type of learning? I was led to write this after our last podcast. And then I thought, well, there's no point in me talking about dogma unless I look up the dictionary's meaning of dogma.
The official definition in the dictionary of the word dogma.
That's it, exactly.
Right.
And I think we all use the word, people use the word dogma a lot.
Yes, and
in
dogmatic.
certain circumstances, somebody's dogmatic.
Yes, yes.
And really, it's an insult sometimes when somebody's saying it.
It often is used as an insult.
Yes.
Or a criticism.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is what I'm saying. So it
Yes.
is. And that's what I'd like to think about today, is that it is used as a criticism. So I thought, well, what is the meaning of it? So I looked at the dictionary and it said, dogma, a set of principles laid down by authority as incontrovertibly true.
Right.
An established opinion. So incontrovertibly true, I wonder if you can even argue with that opinion, because that is a definite opinion. So I'm carrying on now. My thoughts are we should not be fixed in our views because life changes from minute to minute. Myself, I have faith in the knowing that I will go with conscience first, which gives me faith in myself. As a child, my parents installed principles that they expected me to follow. Truth, decency, and compassion for others, not for myself, for others. So this included manners, simple gratitude, not please, just please and thank you on rote, to know why I was saying please and why I was saying thank you. Think before we speak. My mother installed a work ethic of never being still at work. One is paid to work, 9 hours a day, half an hour for lunch, 15-minute break. So that may be dogma.
Right.
Whereas I've not looked at, I myself haven't viewed dogma as everyday principles and the way my mother and my father looked at life.
Right.
So was that dogma, the way they were with my brother and I, expecting us to have standards?
Well, firstly, thank you for sharing your writing with us and for opening up some of your thoughts. It is very interesting what you have put together and your questions around the subject of dogma. So how do you feel then in terms of what you've put down and the questions that are on the back of your writing in terms of your thought process?
For myself,
yes,
it's made me understand that in some ways my parents were very dogmatic.
Right, okay.
As to expectations. But I've always thought of somebody being dogmatic as being, I don't know, forceful. I can't find the word for it.
Almost authoritarian.
But they weren't.
Right.
They always explained why, so they would explain to us.
So it's not an unreasonable position, but it's a position of certainty. It's a fixed position of certainty,
Yes.
of which they're very happy to explain the position, but the position is the position that they hold.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, and their
Right.
expectations were definite.
Right, okay, I understand.
They didn't expect me to argue against them,
Right, okay.
but they did explain. So that led me then to, having seen the meaning of the word, that made me question is because most people think of dogma in other ways where somebody's being forceful or not very pleasant.
I feel that often that is the case in terms of how people use the term and often use it in that particular context or for that particular reason. I do feel that that is true.
Do you think that is needed sometimes? Somebody to be dogmatic?
It depends on the context and it depends on the situation. This is very nuanced. It is, and I know that it is, and I'm sure you all listening know that it is also. I would say there is a difference, a useful difference to identify between being dogmatic about a set of circumstances that one hasn't experienced, as opposed to having a dogmatic point of view about a particular attitude to life. Because one is objective mostly and one is subjective mostly. And I feel that that is where the discrepancy lies. If people are being dogmatic about how history has come about and certain situations that people were not at, and they're not open to any new information that could potentially change a sequence of events or a particular theory or worldview, small or large, that can be very limiting, and that can be authoritarian and often is authoritarian and can be very forceful because it has to defend itself even against new information that can potentially challenge it, maybe even change it. However, subjective reality, the felt experience and what is of most importance to any given individual in a particular context at a particular time, someone can be, and often I'm sure you all listening are, very certain about how you feel and about what you know to be true as to how you would like to treat somebody and how you yourself would like to be treated. Therefore, manners are not something that you would compromise on in terms of your own behaviour, and you cannot force somebody else to have manners. I'm backing your parents up in this, but it is your expectation that manners are important, and you will demonstrate that in your behaviour, and you would expect somebody to have manners towards you and others as well. Whether or not that is always the case is a different question, but the position of whether manners or not are important is not up for debate. Manners are important to your parents and to me, and I'm sure to you, Anne, and I'm sure to all of you listening. So yes, you could describe that as being dogmatic, because somebody could pose the question, well, are manners really that important? It doesn't really matter, does it? And the response very well might be, yes, they are very important, and no, I'm not prepared to change my position personally on my expectation of myself with manners and how I would like others to treat me. And I will demonstrate how I would like to be treated by treating others in the same way. And that, by the definition of a certain way of describing dogmatic, is dogmatic. But that's different to saying you must always behave like this in this situation, because that's different, because that's not describing one's felt reality. That's not describing what's important from a moral perspective. That's describing a sequence of events or a particular behavioural pattern, even if it defies one's internal landscape. So dogma can be very negative and destructive when it goes against what you actually feel. So people are behaving in certain ways because they have to, not because that's how they feel. That would be like somebody always saying please and thank you to somebody when they don't want to say please and thank you. That would be like saying, I really, really enjoyed that because they're told to, and they didn't really enjoy it and they don't want to say it, but they've been dogmaed, they've been programmed to respond always to never ever complain. Never ever complain. In that particular context, that would be dogmatic, but that could be very destructive. So it's extremely nuanced, and I'm oversimplifying it, and I hope in that whirlwind of words and probably too many examples, it makes some kind of sense that it's intuition and our conscience, as you've highlighted in your writing, that will not answer this implicitly, but I feel shines a light on where having certainty is important, fundamentally important in life, and how goodness needs to be certain of itself. And if goodness is not certain of itself, it will not be effective in the world. And if we want goodness to be effective in the world, we have to be certain about it. And if we're not certain about it, is it really good? We are certain about who we love in our lives, as an example. If I was to say to a mother and a child, a grandmother and their grandchild, do you love your child? To all of the mothers listening, and I know
always.
not always would be a very honest answer. Yes, I'm sure you understand the point I'm making, although I fully understand your response. The grandmother towards the grandchild, the grandfather towards his grandchild would say, yes, I love my grandchild. I love my child. Yeah, it's a different question of whether you always like them, or whether you always feel like you love them. But if you were to say, well, is that up for debate?
Oh, no.
No. So is that dogmatic? It could be seen as, well, that's very dogmatic of you. How do you really know? And what about this situation? And could it be said that in this situation, or if pressure was applied here, or if this came up, or if somebody presented this information, would that change how you feel? The answer probably in 99.9% of situations to 99.9% of people would be no, that is not up for debate. I know how I feel, and no one can tell me otherwise. And I don't need you to agree with me for it to be true. And even if you all disagree with me, even if we all disagreed with the grandfather, with the grandmother, with the mother, with the father, and everybody in the world turned round to them and said, we do not accept that you love your grandchild or you love your son or daughter, that parent, that grandparent would say, I don't care what you think. I know how I feel. If that's dogmatic in a particular context, so be it. But I feel that that's deeper than an opinion. When you spoke about and when you outlaid the literal definition from the dictionary, the word belief and an opinion, an established opinion, I'm talking about something that I feel in words, as best can describe, is certainly deeper than an opinion.
Yes.
Because if I was to say to somebody, is it your opinion that you love your grandchild, that you love your child? No, it's not an opinion. It's something that, it's not even a belief. So if I said to somebody, so do you believe it? They say, no, I know it. So I suppose we've taken the territory to where and how deep with it, one's conscience and one's inner knowing and the subjective landscape inside of ourselves in terms of our felt reality, our felt experience as to what is true and how strongly we feel that. And we could be very dogmatic in holding true to that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same as outward behaviours and expecting certain behaviours of others, even if it goes against one's conscience. I hope that makes sense. I've spoken for a long time then.
In another way.
Right, okay.
In another way, following what you've just been saying, is I feel that because I did speak about principles that my parents installed or expected us to behave. Growing up, this is another example, is growing up, and I grew up in a very, very poor family, so this is nothing to do with money or anything, is that no man would enter a house with a hat on.
Yes.
He would take it off.
Wow.
So like people go in with caps on now and sit in the house with caps, no man would, he would automatically, if he passed a lady, he would tip his hat on the street.
Yes.
So if there was a funeral cortege going past, everybody in the street would stop.
Yes.
And wait till he's gone past and bow their heads for the people, even though they didn't know them.
Yes.
And you'd never overtake a hearse. These are just little simple examples I'm giving you.
And when a
moment.
lady used to stand to leave the table,
Yes,
or the room, all the gentlemen, all the men in the room
all the men stood.
would stand.
And when a lady came into the room, the men would stand. And obviously, if there wasn't a seat, they would give her a seat. The reason I'm saying this now is I'm from a very, very poor background, but that same principle went from my background up to gentry.
Yes.
Everybody did the same. So there were certain things in life that everybody did, from gentry all the way down to the poorest person.
Yes.
So
it wasn't to do with status or money.
No. So my feeling is, I think that that's something that's gone out of life.
Yes.
Because is that what holds? I don't know. Is that what? I can't think of the words to say that holds us together as a human race.
The glue.
The glue. Is it the glue that holds everything? That it's a certain. It's not a principle, is it?
It's almost a morality.
A morality, yes.
I do think it's something deeper than that. But I do feel that the word morality is closer.
Yes.
It's not all of it.
No.
Morality brings a warmth to being principled.
Yes.
I feel it's subjective and semantic, and we really are getting into splitting hairs here. But I do feel that to be principled is one thing, but to be and have morality.
Yes.
I know it could be different to different people, and it is. Morality brings that warmth and that lived experience and that shared communal experience. And I do feel that what you're talking about is a particular cultural morality, but a one that is predicated on a particular way of seeing the world that's come from a particular place that has a very particular anchor. And that
means nobody's different. That's what I'm trying to say, is that whether you're the poorest in the land,
yes,
or you're the gentry,
yes,
you still stand up for that person coming in.
Yes, and the etymology of that idea is, I agree with what you're saying, is a very powerful idea, and the world wasn't always that way. It comes from the truth, I would say,
yes.
And I'm sure many people will recognise it, and lots of people will have their own ideas about it. But the truth, as far as I'm concerned, is that every individual has a spark of the divine within them.
Yes.
And everybody, in a sense, has an equality on a very deep level.
Yes.
On a level that is beyond human comprehension and any way of expressing this truth in word. But it means that the prince and the pauper,
yes,
are both divine. That everybody, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, no matter what they believe of themselves, no matter what others believe of them, no matter their status in the world, and no matter how much money they have or don't have, no matter how many people they've hurt or helped in their life, they have a value inside of them. They have something that is divine inside of them. They have a part of them in essence, or their essence in truth, that is more true than anything that their life could ever touch.
That's equality, isn't it?
That's equality on a soul level.
On a soul level,
that allows for equality of opportunity in the human world. Now that's an idea. Now that idea is a powerful idea, and it's an idea that the world didn't always have, because the world wasn't always thinking that way, wasn't always living that way, and hadn't remembered who it was. That's an idea that I brought. That's an idea that I bring. That's an idea that I am. That's an idea that you can recognise about yourself, Anne. That's an idea that all of you listening can recognise about yourself. And it's the most powerful idea. It's the most powerful idea, because it's bringing, to use another word that's very debatable in terms of how we apply it, but it's bringing democracy into the world. Because what it does is it means that everybody is holy in potential. It means everybody is of value, and everybody counts.
Yes.
And it also brings with it a huge responsibility, because it means that once people recognise that, everybody's got a level of responsibility about what they choose to do with that. And I don't mean that in any negative way whatsoever. It's
it means
one
we're all the same, doesn't it?
in potential.
Yeah,
There
we are
is
deep down.
raw potential in everybody. Yes.
Deep down, we're all the same.
Yes,
but
there
we're
is
all
one
experiencing a different life.
Yes, there is one source, one God.
Yeah.
One origin, one consciousness, one life. I know all of you listening will have your own words.
Yes.
Or maybe you would use other context, or maybe even other ideas.
Yes.
But I'm sure you understand that this is a truth that touches across all language.
Yes. So if another example of this is that if when I was a child, my dad took me to Main Road because he was a City fan, we're City fans, not Liverpool, James.
No,
City,
about. I'm saying nothing.
The value's still the same, whether it's a City ground or a Liverpool or anywhere.
I understand.
You remember you stood there and there was no stands. The Main Road was very, very basic.
The Kippack stand.
That's right, yes.
Manchester Kippack.
Yes.
Or the Kippack end.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we would be stood and, playing the game, and then some man would lose himself and swear.
Yes.
And I would say at least a dozen men would go, "Oi, women and children present."
Yes.
And it's that basic goodness inside. That's what I'm trying to explain. I want people to know that everybody has it.
Absolutely. Everybody does have it inside of them in potential. Absolutely. I fully agree with you. I know that to be true. I do.
And to me, that's what can change this world, is the recognition of that can be the change of what's happening in this world now.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. Never has it been needed more for goodness to rise. And that goodness is inside of you all listening. It's inside of everybody.
Yes.
Even the people we do not like, there is potential goodness in them. Even if they're not being good now, there is potential goodness in them.
Yes.
And to know that and to see that and to honour that is what brings the goodness in us alive. Yes. To deny the goodness in somebody else is to deny the goodness in ourselves thriving.
And sometimes what we see and we don't like in others, we've got it in ourselves, and that's why we don't like it.
Absolutely,
when we see it.
absolutely.
Do we want to recognise
Often that is the case, isn't it? The person that most annoys us or most irritates us is quite often I would agree completely with you, Anne, is the person reflecting back to us a part of ourselves that we are trying to hide or we don't really want to admit. But we know we can be like that, or maybe we are like that.
So we can all kid ourselves.
Absolutely, we can. We are, it's been said before, but it's true. And I feel it's worth bringing this goodness forward this morning with a level of certainty. With certainty, why beat around the bush? With certainty that we are our brother's keeper.
Yes.
We are our brother's keeper, and we are our sister's keeper, if we want to be fully, everybody. And that doesn't mean that we do things for somebody else, literally always. Very often, we would never do that. But we can stand with other people. Yeah. We can support other people. We can be aware of other people. We can challenge other people, but we are our brother's keeper. We are in this together. And we are one humanity. And I know that to be true. Whether we agree with each other, disagree with each other, like each other, dislike each other, we are one humanity. And in unity, we will thrive. And in disunity, we will suffer.
Yes.
And in that suffering, will hatred grow and darkness spread and evil rise. So it is fundamentally important that we remember we are united as humanity, and that which divides us, that which tears us apart, is minuscule in comparison to that which unites us. We have infinitely more in common with each other than we can ever have that which divides us. It does not matter the land of our birth, the colour of our skin, our political persuasion, our sexuality, our football teams, and what we put on our plate to eat, what music we like to listen to, where we like to go, our favourite colour, the books we read, or anything else in this world. Nothing can divide us on our most basic, our most powerful level.
Yes.
And we will disagree with people in life. We will have different football teams. We will listen to different music, and we will have different ideas about life and meaning. But the very life that we have ideas about, we all share. And we must remember that. We must live that. And in doing so, the goodness that you're speaking about, I know it to be true. And I'm sure you all listening at least feel what I'm talking about, even if you would frame it differently. I'm sure and hope and trust that you feel it. That goodness will rise, and we will unite together. The people of the United Kingdom, the people of Australia, the people of Argentina, the people of Iraq, the people of Japan, the people of China, the people of America, of Canada, of Nigeria, of South Africa, of Thailand, every nation, everywhere, everybody can unite together as one humanity, despite our differences. And in a way, we can celebrate our differences because they give us conversation. They give us excitement and challenge. They provide meaning when people disagree with a point of view or have a different point of view. It can confirm or change what we think, and then life can grow, and people will listen to different music and create different dances and wear different clothes, because the expression and colour of life will thrive and flourish across our world. So we are one in essence, but we are not the same as anybody else. Everybody's an individual as part of the most magnificent being there ever is, was, or ever could be. Oh, and it's so good. That's the good news. The good news, everybody's a part of it, and nothing can break it, nothing can change it, and nothing can diminish it.
Could we look at the world like a 3-year-old?
With wonder and
With
awe.
wonder. And a 3-year-old who throws a tantrum on the floor, then gets up and loves you.
Yeah.
And then runs away and then falls over
Yes.
and gets up and pats themselves down. We become adults, we're ideal as children, we're beautiful little souls, and things get in the way as we grow older.
Yes.
Maybe life should go back to more simplicity. Maybe we've made life too difficult for another time to talk about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we've complicated it.
Yes, maybe we're too hung up on words and their meaning rather than how we feel, and more importantly, maybe how we make others feel.
Yes.
Because if we really are our brother's keeper, if we really are our sister's keeper, then how we treat others says a lot.
It does.
And being aware of how we feel and how we make others feel is important. We cannot deny ourselves just to please somebody else. No. That's not what I am advocating. But we can be aware of...
You're not being kind then, are you? If you're pleasing somebody else just to please them, that's for gratitude to yourself.
Absolutely, I agree.
You're not doing it then.
I do feel in terms of any fixed position of certainty, whether it's to do with manners or faith or football or whatever it might be, and lots of people can be very certain about all three.
Yes.
I feel the most useful and the most apt, and certainly a true way of framing it, and this has been framed across the world, across time and story, and teaching and teachers across the world, and said again, no less true than ever before, to do unto others as we ourselves would have done unto us, to treat other people as we ourselves would like to be treated, to be the change we wish to see in the world. In as so much as, if we do know something to be certain, then demonstrate that and be it in the world, and allow other people to see that, even if it's not true for them at that time. Treat other people how you yourself would like to be treated, genuinely, which we can explore in future podcasts. But maybe just to leave it this morning quickly, that doesn't necessarily mean everybody's going to be nice to each other all of the time, because if one reflects on it with any thought and depth, we don't actually want people to be nice to us all of the time. In fact, there are many situations when if somebody's just nice to us, it's not contextual, it's not natural to the particular situation that we are in. So to treat other people isn't always just to be nice. That's an oversimplification and a short-sighted way of viewing it. Often we want to be challenged. We want to be spoken to like we're of value, because we are of value, and we want to treat other people like they're of value.
Yeah.
I'm probably overthinking it, but
it's like I said in the beginning in the writing, isn't it?
Yes.
That for myself, I go into my own conscience first before I do anything or say anything.
Yes.
I see whether it fits in with my own conscience.
Yes.
Which sometimes, even if I want to slap somebody,
right,
my conscience says, "Yeah, go ahead, do it."
Right.
And you'll feel better.
Okay. Well, I best not say anything to offend you this morning on the podcast, then, Anne.
So even your own conscience doesn't mean you're goody all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it just means that sometimes people need to be told the truth. I don't mean slap them.
Absolutely. Well, that little child that you described.
Tell the truth. Tell them the truth. Then you do it.
Yes. That little. I agree with you, Anne. That little child that you described briefly before. Is lovable because it isn't always goody-goody.
No.
And no human is really, in essence.
No,
we all have moments when we're certainly not goody-goody.
Yes.
But we can always be potentially true.
Yes.
I feel there's a word, we can put it in now and talk about it in podcasts to come if you'd like, Anne, along with many other topics that have sprung up this morning. It's maybe not a question of, is it true? Maybe we need to place another word into that question to bring it alive a little bit more, or to bring out a little more meaning, more depth. Is it true now? So when you were 20, something could certainly be true, but it would be dogmatic to hold to it because it was true when you were 20, and you still hold to it today because you held to it when you were 20, whatever it might be. The only real question that's of most importance to answer is it true now?
Yes.
Because it's true that it could be yes and it could be no. And the answer to that question doesn't make what was true when you're 20 any less or any more true, just because you could find it not to be true or even more true now. So is it true now? That then releases the dogma from time, meaning you must believe this then, and you must believe this to come.
Yes.
It's only, is this true now? And what is good, and what is everything that we are speaking around and about and through and as this morning will always be true now.
Yes.
But how that comes into the world will be different. Of course it will. And will be different with all of you listening. That was a very... another passion-filled, every week seems to be a passion-filled podcast with lots said, many, many concepts. That's a really interesting one. That was
one word, dogma.
That was an interesting Freudian slip, yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. I hope you have all enjoyed listening, and of course you will have your own thoughts and ideas, and please feel free to share them. And thank you for supporting. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for sharing the podcast. Thank you for talking about it. Genuinely, thank you. And as long as some of you, many of you, hopefully everybody listens and enjoys, we will continue to put them together. Okay. Well, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, everybody. A wonderful week whenever it is that you're listening. And as always, we look forward to being with you and speaking with you again next week, next Sunday morning.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.